medical.
Under the new law, it is still illegal to use pot in public, on college campuses, and while driving.
But it's a Monday. Smoking marijuana all in public. You would think that shit was legal.
Well, marijuana is now a multi-billion-dollar industry. There are people sitting in prison today for marijuana offenses.
Marijuana is not a drug.
A bill to decriminalize marijuana on the federal level was passed by the House Judiciary Committee today on a 24-10 vote.
That's some heavy shit, man.
As more and more states make marijuana legal, Major League Baseball will change its policy to keep up. The league has removed pot from its list of drugs of abuse and replaced it with opioids.
I'm hitting it so hard.
Well, you know, Al, obviously you're active in the cannabis community. Yep. And my question for you is, when is the NBA going to catch up with the rest of society and change their policies when it comes to cannabis?
I think it's really soon because the players is like, they want it bad. You know what I'm saying? They bring it up, you know, in meetings.
Critics worry the wait could lead to high demand on the black market where there's no oversight.
What kind of joint is this, man?
Medical.
And welcome to Medical Mondays, y'all. This is your host with the most, THC, in his motherfucking bloodstream, BERG. Of course, I got my right-hand man, my compadre, my co-host with me, Ed Rocho.
What up, Doe?
Man, before we get this shit started, I want to give a big shout out.
Happy birthday, Scoop!
You asshole.
He did it.
Happy birthday, Scoop. I wanted to say it, but, you know, Roach has to be an asshole.
He told you in the pre-show he was going to do that.
Huge shout out to our boy, Scoop, Medical Monday fam. I hope he's enjoying his day. I hope he's smoking good, all that shit. And then before anything, I want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors. Of course, we got Honeybee Extractions, Native Made 313, Ghostbuster Farms, Western Tobacco, Michigan Turf Farms, Michigan Ganja Clean, and of course, Label, my motherfucking bud, y'all. So yeah, huge shout out to all of our sponsors. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. We got our special invited guests here with us tonight, and it's Gage Green Group. What up, Doe?
What up?
We got Michael.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's up, guys?
And of course, we got C Murder in the building, Jamie Lowell, and
What's up, everyone?
Rick Thompson's in the building.
Peace.
Man, and shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat right now. We got Says Trill, Prop One, your boy Roy Boy, and a bunch of other MFers ready to hear some good shit. Smoke
MFers, what's that?
MFers?
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
So what's everybody smoking on tonight?
That's a GMO. I got this Cynthia. No, sorry, Sylvia.
Sylvia?
It's the grape cookies. It's like grape. We call it the grape cookies or the grape Thin Mint crossed with Grape Stomper Underdog, and it's just a new selection we've been working with. But the plant is really unique. I got some bud right here off of the.
Nice. Good.
Looks a lot fun in real life, but yeah, she smells amazing. It's Grape Stomper with a lot of gas, and I'm about to load up the bowl. So.
Just don't get your lady's name wrong, though. That can be a dangerous thing.
Right, for sure.
No, the strain, I mean, Jeff could tell you a little bit more about it. It was named after his bandmate. So Yeah, it's more personal to him.
So does it still have all the grape tones to it? Can you taste all the grape in it?
Yeah, it's got a strong grape, but it's really like got a deep undertone to it. Almost like it's deep. It's gassy. It's almost like kind of got a borderline like nutty smell. I know that's kind of a weird, but it just smells like something you want to eat.
Like grape nuts. Remember those? Wasn't there a cereal back in the day? It was like raisins covered with like nuts or something.
No, it was not raisins covered with nuts, but there is a grape nut cereal.
It's just fiber.
Grape nuts.
It seems like they gave fiber to another animal and then had it defecate in a box so that you could eat it as cereal.
If you ever need to sandblast something, you can use grape nuts as an alternative to sand when you blast. It's that kind of roughage.
It's not like that fucking coffee that they feed the cats and they shit it out and then people gotta pay all kinds of money for it, is it?
Actually, it's exactly like that, just not as fancy.
The cereal version is not so good, but the Bud version is awesome.
Right. Imagine the interview for that job at Post Cereals. Hey, are you constipated? Can you, if we give you a bunch of stuff, can we rely on you to get it out? Okay.
Yeah, imagine thinking that cereal is good for you. I just talked to somebody. He's like, we were talking about like eating healthy and like, and they were like, wait, what do you mean? Like, I don't get all my vitamins from my cereal? And
it's like a bowl of candy, right?
Oh, bro, totally.
Yeah, and the preservatives are ridiculous. We still don't know what all of those preservatives do to us, and yet we feed their kids shovels full of that crap every day.
My kids love riboflavin. What you talking about?
What was it? What was
more
that?
than likely got baby parts in it.
Oh man.
Yeah, they use that in flavoring these days, man.
What would it flavor it to taste like?
I don't know. There's just reports that anything with natural flavoring is like abortion, like material. So I would watch
using stem cells as flavoring.
Yeah, they're big time, dude.
They use it's called human embryonic kidney stem cells. It's from fetal tissue. But I don't think they'll say that it's not actually in the food, but it's just part of developing the flavors for a lot of the stuff.
Well, stem cell research is cutting edge technology, but I just couldn't imagine it being so available that they could put it into food preservatives, because those things are used by the kiloton, all over the place. Kiloton's not the appropriate weight measure, but by the ton, by the kilo, when they make those things, because they make gross amounts of cereal. I mean, huge quantities of it. So if that was being used as flavoring, they'd need a ridiculous amount of source material.
Yeah, and look up HEK, human embryonic kidney, and then look up like PepsiCo, and see what comes up.
That is great.
We're starting off Medical Mondays right.
Love it.
I thought we were going to be towing the line with the Navy admitting that there's UFOs, but here we go. I'm ready, guys.
Then they're not even letting them use CBD shampoo anymore. You can't use hemp shampoo anymore if you're in the Navy.
Serious?
You might get some extra CBD or something.
What's the point of joining the military if you can't use CBD?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, PTSD, come on. It's so well documented that it helps PTSD. And while you're still in uniform, you get PTSD. It's not just when you are done with your enlistment that happens. So
they don't give a fuck about any of that, Rick.
No. Contradictory data and contradictory opinions are the hallmark of the drug war. It doesn't end. It's just changed face.
Uh-oh. Jeff disappeared. Oh, there.
There he is.
All right, well, let's talk about this organic cup, because I got a question or two. So, who wants to take the lead on that? Tell us about the organic cup. And I guess my first question is, in your answer, if you could also include what your criteria for organic is.
So organic cup, it's basically a concept that we created because we literally traveled the entire North America pretty much doing shows and have found there to be no room for people who don't smoke synthetic cannabis or cannabis that wasn't grown 100% with the intention of doing it as nature. Of course, indoor artificial lighting, this and that. There are compromises to quote unquote nature being in the situation that we are in. But the goal basically is like the cannabis industry to become our best form, to discover what natural healing truly means, to discover the power of herbalism, and also to really dive into like natural farming and what that means for nutrient density and all the other types of like health in general. But basically, Gage Green has made that its mission, is basically to be at the forefront and to represent natural, whether it be herbalism, whether it be the healing side of things or the cultivation side of things. So as you guys know, like we've always pushed natural methods. We've always supported organic based, microbial based, companies, and we've kind of just been a part of that movement. So when we go to the shows, there's probably like 1% representation of our niche, which is cool and all. I mean, like, it's still a new thing, but there is no place for people like us, the people who want to learn more about what we do or like just want to develop their own, skill set within the natural healing, natural farming environment. That just doesn't exist. So the organic cup kind of came out of that. Of course, there's like a lot of online communities and Facebook groups and Instagram hashtags that you can really explore and get a lot of knowledge to like what natural farming is and what natural healing truly is. There's no, in-person type of event for people like us. So we started it last year. Our first one was in October. It was just late enough to where we could get outdoor entries, but it was really cold. So this year we want to do it in the middle of summer to try to have like, we actually want to do it in May, but due to COVID, we postponed it. And then like right around May, June, it seemed like everything was cool. So we said July, we set it for August 22nd, 23rd. So that's where we have as our dates. And just to kind of touch on like the criteria for entry, basically anything that's synthetically chelated, so like anything that includes any nutrients that include EDTA in the ingredient list, includes a synthetic chelate. Those are basically, you could know that if you feed your plants anything of that variety, that's not going to be allowed. If we basically state that like if you were to use bottle feeding methods, that those have to be organically derived, whether it be a fermentation base or like a fulvic acid base, but basically something that is from composted materials rather than just pure minerals and pure salt based. We want to know that the plant was grown with all the elements that's more or less needed in a natural ecosystem. So that means like your insects, your nematodes, your bacteria, your fungi, and having a plant that's fully engaged in that environment. That's basically what we consider quote unquote organic. There's a lot of different ways of growing organic, and obviously nobody is certified organic in this world and in this in America, so that term is used somewhat loosely. We basically are just a we're just collectively gathering anybody who appreciates natural farming, permaculture, biodynamic. And it's a lot of it is an honor system. Like if you come into the show with some fake bud and you say it's organic, we're gonna keep samples of it. And basically like one day if we can, or if there's a lab that can help us figure out and test for synthetic chelates, we're gonna look for that stuff. But basically, it's a community. The people that come are all people we know, and they represent the product. They promote natural farming and natural cannabis. And so that's kind of like the type of people that we attract and the type of people that are going to be a part of the show.
Well, how many entries do you anticipate?
That's a good question. It's hard to say because just with the way people kind of wait till the very last minute to get their tickets or to apply or send in anything.
Make sure that crop is right.
Right. And then they're like, oh, I'm not even going to enter. See, the thing is, though, last year we charged 4 entries. This year we're not charging a dime. So basically, you just put the money up, obviously, for the cannabis. The rest is free. I mean, like, there's no entry cost. So we anticipate more entries this year. And I know like the cost is definitely a factor for a lot of people. So now you just have to have it.
Is that your phone? It's blocking your audio.
What did he win?
I don't know. is some of your people trying to call you, Michael?
Is that me?
I don't know whose phone that is.
That thing is a bop, though.
That's not me. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like Skype.
No, it's like, yeah, it does.
What the fuck, Berg? Turn that shit off. Doing a fucking show, man.
It's totally you, Berg.
Is it?
I know.
I don't know what's going on, man.
That's your Skype, man. It's Skype.
I don't got
That's
Skype
the sound
open.
that Skype makes.
I don't even got Skype open.
Skype doesn't like the fact that it's got competition.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Trying to ruin the meme.
It's not popping up on anything.
Oh well. Somebody had something to say. Say it in the comments.
I know. Talking
Go on
shit.
YouTube. Say that shit in the comments.
No, I think it might be the Medical Mondays thing in the corner down there. Maybe somebody was calling the Skype.
I know, but I don't have Skype on my computer.
I don't know.
Is it over yet?
What? Is what over yet?
Talking about the ringtone. I want to hear more about this organic cup.
Oh, all right, my bad.
Sorry.
So, do you remember where you left off?
Yeah.
I won't blame you if you say no.
No, but we were talking about something to do with the entries. Oh yeah, something about like
you had said that it was free and that you anticipated more people entering.
Right, but I can't tell you how many right now.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm kind of excited. Where is this all taking place?
Yep.
It's gonna be at our 40-acre ranch in Gladwin, Michigan, where Jeff's at. And you can kind of see he's in the VIP room slash.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You're muted, Jeff.
Yeah, you're muted right now.
Okay, here I am. Yes,
Awesome.
I'm in the VIP room right now. Where we're gonna set it up with all kinds of goodies. But we've been planning with a few teammates on how to make this a really cool event. And there's a lot of there's 40 acres here, so we're just going to have different things set up all over, like a smoking lounge outside, a place to hang out and just relax and, kick back. So it's going to be really cool. We're really excited about this. Plus it'll be warm. That's nice. Last time it was pretty cold.
And we had like 450 people come out last time. This time we're going to keep it under 2, just to focus on the people who are coming out. And also, of course, like there's a limit for how many people can come out to a public event right now because of the whole Corona thing. So we're going to try to follow that and stay under that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. With everything that's going on, man. Hopefully people have safe practices while out, and seems like it'll be a really good event.
Yeah, it will be.
I'm gonna smoke everything out. Like I'm putting aside just a ton of flour, so anybody who comes out is like normally people expect they have to throw down or whatever. Like we're gonna be smoking everybody out real fat. So you guys should definitely come.
Yeah, no, like, what I like about events is kind of what I don't like about events is like, I want to go and see new brands and try them out and see what it's like. But like, and it's hard to tell who exactly did it to you because like at the end of the day, you like start getting a headache and like starting to feel overwhelmed by the cannabis. And like, to me, it's because people do some shiesty shit with their plants. So I would expect that an organic cup, all that cutting corner shit would be right out the door.
Yeah, you should come to the event and you won't get no headache from this pot because everything here is really clean and well defined to just be good medicine. So a lot of people that come here and enter their stuff really take a lot of pride in what they do. And, whereas the mineral growers at the high times and all that can be pretty raw,
Yeah, it can be.
And there was a time where I was sick from going around. I was just getting whatever weed I could that was bomb, but I got really sick, and then just happened to have started smoking Jeff's pot, and then like I was getting better. I was noticeably getting better. Like my allergies, my fucking inflammation, my fucking sinuses, my whatever the fuck was getting better. I was like, there's definitely something to this. I can tell the difference. Then he started saying like, oh yeah, this is organic. And I'm like, organic? What the fuck is organic? And like there was a time where I didn't even know what organic was. And now I'm like, fucking, I'll die for organic. It saved me. I was more of I was like a patient, and like the way people talk about like cannabis saved me and now I'm off of all of my meds and stuff is how I talk about like organic cannabis, because I smoked cannabis and I did all of that and used a lot of it for a medical purpose, but I wasn't getting medical results. And it wasn't until I actually started working with the super clean stuff that was grown, in accordance with nature. It had basically all the genes activated. It wasn't just being force-fed chemicals to produce weight. It was actually it actually knew how to exude sugars, and it knew how to work with the solar system. And something about that level of cultivation leads to a plant that's more more intelligent or more loving, and just you feel it. You don't feel the tensions, you don't feel the tightnesses, no residual effects. It's very smooth. All these things really at this point is a health issue, concern for me. But at one point I was able to I can tell like the moment I smell something in a bag, how it's grown, the moment I smell the smoke or see how it burns, I know how it was grown. And so like these things are very important, and we're really trying to cultivate the highest level of organic cannabis. So it's like I don't even let certain weed into my lungs or into my vicinity because I don't want to pick up the mold spores and particles and basically the energy of what someone else grew, because like that shit to me a lot of times is going to actually make me suffer. And either I can take it back to my garden, my plants will feel it, or, and this is real stuff too, like trust me when I say, like, if you smoke some and it gets all over you and you take it into your garden and there was some bad shit on there, or that person didn't know what he was doing, your garden will suffer. But anyway, so these are things that I consider all the way to, you know, even organic weed. So we're just really trying to do our best work and keep our bodies pure, because we know that if we want to do and continue to grow this company the way it needs to grow, we can't have toxins in our body. We can't be held back. I can't have, you know, a hangover, or I can't have a day where I'm not feeling my best, because the amount of work that we do every day is like incredible. So yeah, that's why we do organic.
Michael, don't you think a lot? I'm sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah, just wondering if you've been able to determine which things trigger those bad responses, those foreign things that could end up in the plant.
You like magnesium and the specific elements you're talking about?
Well, I mean, there's things that are not natural or in unnatural quantities or something like that that might trigger some of these symptoms that he's discussing. I'm just wondering if we know what those things are.
I think he was talking about energies too. I don't know.
Like energy has a lot to do with like let's just say chemicals produce energy, right? They vibrate. So like everything is energy. But when
even the sound, you know,
right? Like I mean, like even the sound that was played to the plant, like what, and the music that the grower listens to, like changes the essence of the plant. It just does. It's like you might not be able to explain it, but the kids come out differently. The animals come out differently. So how could the plants not, right? It's the essence. It has a lot to do with the individual. So I'm a firm believer that you grow the pot that's meant for you. So like if it's toxified, it's meant for you at that point in your life to overcome a certain aspect of what you're going through. But what causes like those discomforts, the headaches, the different things? I mean, we already know, like they're measuring for like microbials, they're measuring for heavy metals and pesticides. So known chemicals, known toxic, you know, like toxic materials that actually end up in the plant are known to cause, you know, neurological disorders and all types of physiological problems. So that's one. But let's just say, even if it was grown and tested super clean, of course there's non-detectable limits. Of course there's still the effect that if you did use something at one point, let's just say a chemical, but its residuals are gone, or it's under detectable limits, the fact that that plant went through it, let's just say the plant went through a antifungal treatment. Well, there's a theory that plants produce a set of chemicals called salvestrol. I could be getting it wrong, but the idea is that when a plant is forced to use its own immune system, like if you give a plant a disease and it has to overcome the disease, it produces chemicals that actually help fight natural, you know, pathogens. These chemicals, so-called salvestrols or whatever, actually have the effect of
like vegetative antibodies.
Right, but they have the same effect for people when you consume them. So that's the pro side of things. Now think about the plant that's been treated. Well, it doesn't have the salvestrols. It doesn't have the genetic memory of being able to fight off disease. It essentially is like protected and it's clean, but like imagine a protected and clean little like human. That don't make you resilient. That don't make you useful. That don't make you have any wisdom or knowledge to help the rest of society. You might be good in your own little bubble. So like if you want me to smoke the essence of that being, I might say no, because what I want is something that's like wild and has a spirit and has creativity and knows what it's doing. Like, I mean, in the plant sense. So like basically we grow our plants to break the soil down. Like, so another example that I think is a good reason for why organics is a little different from like a force-fed type environment is that in organics, in order for the plant to use the compost in the soil, the plant actually has to produce its own sugars. So I was mentioning the exudates. It releases sugar from its own body or its own plant in through the roots into the soil to feed the microorganisms. The microorganisms take that sugar and then create, a chemical reaction that then feeds the plant. So what that tells me is that plant is doing something. It knows how to produce sweetness. It's sweet. It's a sugar. It's a sugar factory, versus a plant that doesn't have to produce its own sugar, that's only being fed carbohydrates, and that only is being fed like a perfect diet of basically minerals. I mean, imagine a person just on a diet of minerals. Like, do unto others as you would want to do unto you. You know what I mean? Like, so we're treating the plants like, I swear to God, you would not be okay with a mineral-based diet as a human being. So a plant, let's just say it looks good, maybe it's not happy. Maybe a part of it misses food. Maybe a part of it misses the time when it was actually able to produce sugar. It was kind, it was sweet, it was, versus now it's like this, commercialized beast that's got nothing about it. It's just a hollow shell. It's going into a little philosophy, and its energy, but in the end of the day, it's measurable. I don't have a lab behind me, Jamie, but as you can see, I kind of have a few ways of understanding what's going on, and it's just the essence of what the plant is doing. The chemical processes that the plant is producing, they're different. Things are, so I look at the synthetic force-fed world as a measuring stick to know what the plant's true possible potential is, and what it can actually do, how big it can get, how thick it can get, how stinky it can get, all that, how oily and how resinous it can get, all can be achieved with synthetic measures, but very difficult organically, and that's what we're really striving to achieve, is to what the synthetic guys are able to do it organically and not take any shortcuts, make the plant achieve it on its own. It's difficult, and it took a lot of years to even get to where we are today. So,
Well, a lot of gardeners use threat techniques in order to encourage their plants to produce more. We give it a dark period before we harvest in order to increase resin production. Sometimes gardeners will bend intentionally damaged stalks in order to encourage bud growth. There's all different types of techniques that are used to put stress on plants in order to make them produce more of a particular style of thing. What you're talking about is just a more intellectual way of accomplishing that feat.
So Jeff loves super cropping, which is where you bend the stems and you stress them to make them really, the lowers come out and to really get thick stalks and stuff. And that's one measure. I just let them grow from beginning to end in a perfect organic environment. I don't really crop them because that's my method. But I think that there's different types of stress too. And then what you're saying is a good type of stress. Personally, I think the flip side of an organic diet, meaning a mineral-based diet, would be the bad type of stress. Not that it doesn't work, but that it just oftentimes, and you can get it from when the smoke and the feeling from the smoke, you get stressed. It's like the plant was a little bit stressed, and that's why the weed makes you a little anxious. It makes you a little bit paranoid. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just not a very holistic feeling that I get when I smoke, whether it's homegrown, organic, well water, no fluoride, no chlorine, none of that, no synthetic additives. That feeling is a little bit different than even the most perfectly grown or synthetic cannabis.
Do you RO your well water?
So we have 2 facilities right now, and one we have a triple filter, and one we have RO. And the RO machine made a drastic improvement on the facility that didn't have the RO. We haven't switched the other facility over to RO yet, so that's definitely something to look into. But we're doing just fine there. But yeah, we do use RO.
Yeah, I want to say I definitely, for sure, lately have just had like a really bad aversion to weed that I highly suspect has been put through some remediation process, such as like the ozone blasting and the ultraviolet lights and all that shit. I think that shit is just fucking horrible. Yeah, unmute yourself, Berg, if you want to talk.
What, Roach? What are they doing?
They're getting booth shit to pass.
And
basically,
how are they doing this?
Ozone and ultraviolet light and all kinds of fucking other chemicals to try to erase the bad chemicals.
Let me share something with you real quick. I just saw in an article today, which is 3 days old, 1.6 million cannabis plants in Michigan since December have been destroyed by order of the Marijuana Regulatory Agency. More than are currently in production, more than have been harvested, more than both those two totals together. It is difficult to get commercial cannabis to come out properly. And in order to help these guys make a couple of pennies, they allow them these remediation techniques. And you're right, Roach. Sometimes they're a little sketchy. And sometimes the science is unproven, and we don't exactly know what the end result is after remediation.
Well, I'm sure the hell fucks with the terpenes and fucking even. I totally think I had like a different kind of high smoking that weed. Like it didn't feel natural. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it was like a real anxious, jittery kind of buzz. It was weird. I don't like that shit. I can tell like almost immediately.
Well, there's several different kinds of remediation, so it's difficult to just generalize remediation overall, but some of those techniques could certainly do that. Michael, that's what you're talking about. Now you've got some cannabis that's been, subjected to some pretty extreme conditions, and it carries forth some of that negative energy. Isn't that how you describe remediated cannabis?
Yeah, I would definitely not consider remediated cannabis as anything high quality and or even medicinal at that point. But the thing is there's these almost draconian like pharmaceutical level testing standards for a lot of the cannabis, and the fact is that it's very, very difficult to produce sterile cannabis. Cannabis is a living being, and it is covered in microbes. And actually, we used to promote the use of heavy use of microbes on the plants, not into flower, but the fact is that in organic cannabis, the more microbes in the soil, which then translates to microbes in the pot and in the flower and on the leaf surface, it's actually a beneficial thing, whether it be for the growth of the plant or the health of the human being. However, with the med and rec regulations requiring near very low levels of microbe counts, and they're not really distinguishing difference between pathogens or things that have like mycotoxins or things that are bad for humans versus bacillus, which is in helps in our lives, or Bacillus subtilis and different strains that are actually probiotics for people and plants. These are crucial things to think about because, it sucks that I kind of feel bad for the commercial facilities that do have to be subjected to these like crazy, government regulations.
Some of the toughest in the nation in Michigan, no doubt.
Right.
Yeah, and some of that 1 million pounds, there's probably some good, very usable pot that had to be destroyed.
Thank the Republicans that ran the legislature in 2016. I was there, or 2014. I was there when these things were being discussed, and in 2016, when they passed the MMFLA, it was the testing industry that essentially wrote the bill and gave it to Kesto, and that's what they sailed through. There were no other sponsors on the testing bill, just Kesto. It was odious because it was so repressive, and now, even though they didn't listen to us then, now the industry pays the price.
Interesting. Yeah, do you think that there's a possibility of people either coming together or lobbying the government to change the regulation to? I know that in the rec laws, they've actually raised the limit for microbes, microbial.
Yeah, the licensing and regulatory affairs through the Marijuana Regulatory Agency has a lot of latitude there. I know a lot of people choose to defer to the legislature, but we've seen the MRA increase batch size, change requirements, add different requirements as they came forth. If you think about the vitamin E acetate kind of an issue, so they did all of these things without legislative approval. So they've demonstrated they can do it on their own. And that means probably, yeah, because the lobbying firms that are being employed by some of these large commercial companies are really putting pressure on the MRA to make our testing program seem more like the national standard. Right now, ours is really too strict. Jamie Lowell's involved in the botanical company in Tawas, and we were just speaking earlier today about the availability of cannabis. And right now, the availability is not that great, especially in the adult use side. There are projected to be product shortages, and we're facing the end of caregiver supply cannabis into the regulated market as well coming up. So the testing standard, this would be a perfect time for us to, I like to call it right sizing the testing standard, not reducing it, not changing it, just right sizing it, because right now it's just too much.
Right. It seems like at this point, the only people that are getting onto that are passing are using, like xylitol or like just like hydrogen peroxide or like Roach was saying, the remediation, whether it be microwaving it or the ozone, it's all just to pass the test. It's not really for the benefit of the patient or to make the product better.
Might just be a reality of the industry at this stage we're at. Is that what you're saying, Michael?
It certainly is the reality. And I'm just wondering, it would be nice to see, new considerations coming forth, because there, there is a whole nother side to growing that isn't sterile. However, everybody at this point, because of the law, is using things like hydrogen peroxide on their flower to pass testing.
I asked at the last Marijuana Regulatory Agency review, which was, I think, in March, I asked them if they could include on the labeling requirements something that indicated if that cannabis had been remediated at any time in that flower's life history. And that would apply whether it was converted to a pen or whether it's converted to concentrate or whether it remained flower or a pre-roll. All it really needs is just a little imprint, little trademark kind of a thing to show us that it has been. And I think that's not too much to ask if we're talking about medical, especially with patient security, but also in the adult use market, because that's, as Roach said, that's information we'd like to know prior to purchasing. If I already know that I have a difficulty with that, I should be aware.
If they actually did that, that would be like better than what the FDA is doing with their food right now.
Yeah, and I'm not making a judgment about remediated product at all. As Michael said, it's kind of the reality. I have a lot of friends in the cultivation industry, and I'm sure that some of them use remediation simply because it's necessary in order to meet testing standards. But as a consumer, I'd like to know. That's all. I'd like to know, and I think it's within their power to do it. And since it's such a simple thing, I really don't see a problem with that. Except, corporate guys really would rather we don't know that, because we might inhibit our purchase of that product.
Knowing your bud went through a microwave might keep you from buying it.
In the Canadian system, no kidding, for the medical program for years and years, what they did was they ground up all of the cannabis, homogenized it, including stems and seeds and everything else, ran it through an irradiation machine, irradiated it with X-rays before they packaged it up and sent it out through the Canadian Post. Now, we are so scared of cannabis in America, we couldn't even imagine the post office delivering cannabis would shake them to their core. But the fact is, Canadians did it for a long time. The reason they had to irradiate it is because they produced and stored this cannabis. Jamie knows this story. They produced and stored this cannabis in gigantic big bags, waiting for it to be ordered, and then it would take it, grind it up, and then kill all the mold spores through the radiation technique. It was mandatory in their law to irradiate that cannabis because that's the only way they could guarantee they weren't sending moldy stuff out. Because there was no timeliness, there was no care. It's all a government program at that point, and those government guys didn't have any skill at cannabis production or storage.
They grind up the stems. They homogenize just whatever part of the plant is there and send it
Yep.
up.
And that's why the Canadian, off market, the Canadian legacy market was so successful until they legalized. Now we have, as I reported on one of my other programs, 1,000 registered dispensaries across the country of Canada. Doesn't seem like a lot. In Michigan, at one point in the legacy market, we had 500 dispensaries just in our state, but Canada's population is not nearly what it is in the United States. And that's a benchmark I'd like to see us hit. 1,000 federally registered, even one federally registered dispensary. The scheduling change needs to take place. The one that Bernie Sanders talked about, the one that our Attorney General Dana Nessa talked about, removing it from Schedule 1. It's a contradiction and it's a lie the government continues to protect. And I thought we were in a period where we were going to destroy lies, not protect them.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are you going to do? The government's involved. What do you expect? That's why
Kick some ass. That's what we did with legalization. That's what they did before I came into it with medical. Medical's accomplishment I didn't have anything to do with, but we showed that we can do it, and we elected people that we thought were going to get the job done. Now we just need to hold their feet to the fire. Figuratively, not literally, Berg. I know what you're into. Your browser history is sick, man.
And I'm going to say it's going to have to be literally, because we lost that figurative leverage when we legalized it and didn't get the results done.
How do you figure we lost that?
That was all they wanted was our tax dollars. They got that now. They can give a fuck what we want, or so it would seem. That's the feeling I get on the street.
Well, I mentioned earlier that the large cultivators have a pretty big influence, and they're quite powerful in Lansing and can certainly influence the marijuana regulatory agency to do things. There is still agencies of the government that can be influenced. The MRA holds these public meetings. Very few of us attend. Very few of us put comments on. Social equity is another thing that they try to keep doing, and nobody seems to participate in. Brisbane was just in an article saying how nobody's taking advantage of the 100-plant grow or the micro business either. So there's opportunities for us to help to shape these things, but it's not. Because to be honest with you, before legalization, they really didn't give a shit what we wanted either. They really didn't. That's why we had to force it down their throat. We gave them chance after chance, and they did nothing. That's why we had to try to do it on our own, because they didn't care. I mean, the testing program's one of a perfect example. We told them at the time. I mean, very vocally, a bunch of us, including senators and House representatives, that the testing program was too extreme. It was, at that time, it was the worst in the nation. And they FLA package, including secure transport, testing, all the stuff we hate about the program, the ridiculous background checks, all of this criminal monitoring, all of the huge money amounts, all of that was created in 2016 by the Republican-dominated legislature, signed by the Republican governor. So that's where all of the horrible things that we don't like about the program came from. When we passed the legalization, we got all the good stuff. And if we go buy rec cannabis, you don't have to have anything recorded. It's just like a regular transaction. When you buy beer, nobody takes your name. When you buy cannabis, nobody takes your name. Don't need to. It's silly. So the MMFLA having all of this tracking and all of this, I got to know exactly how much you purchased today, all that stuff, it's a bit much. So we got rid of it. The whole criminality, when you grow 12 plants at home, immediately when you harvest your plants, now you're a criminal because you got more than 2.5 ounces. We got rid of that shit too. Now you can keep the entire product of your garden. Even if it's the product of multiple
all those old ladies can buy their CBD and not be afraid anymore.
Yeah.
People are not going to jail anymore.
Come on.
The C Murder got that CBD.
Come on.
He's got the old lady hookup. See, Murder does.
See, Murder had to open up that grandma CBD market so he could cash out. He was ready.
Yeah. Well, they love C Murder, wouldn't you think? They got to pinch his cheeks and say, "Oh, you're such a great boy."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, if you guys were on some bullshit, man, you wouldn't be on the show, man. Big salute to Rick and Jamie and C Murder. You guys are definitely out there in the trenches. doing.
Thank you for that. But realize we're not totally happy with the way legalization turned out either. There's lots of holes in what we intended versus what we got right now. You see Jamie and Colin both nodding their heads. Everybody knows it. Where we're at is not where we had hoped we would be at this point, which is why I mentioned about Dana Nessel. She can do things that she's not done. So can Gretchen Whitmer. So could the Marijuana Regulatory Agency. You know?
Man. Well, I'm gonna wind it down a little bit and throw a softball question at these guys, but only because they have the best answers. Now, I heard this a while ago, and I've never repeated it or asked anybody about it, but I figure if there's somebody to ask about this, you guys are the ones to know. So I heard that our bodies and cannabis are so in tune with each other that if you are sick or if you're not sick, if you can get to the seed and have your saliva be the first moisture, like when you go to pop it, that plant will have like your DNA imprinted within it, and whatever it is that's wrong with you, that plant is going to heal you from it.
I'd never heard this.
Like I said, I've never repeated it or anything, but you guys are the ones I'm going to ask.
I've
Jeff,
heard.
Mike, let me know what's the deal. Is it a valid thing? Yeah,
It's like
I've heard people say it, but I that's an interesting one. Like I heard it actually wasn't with like cannabis. It was from like an old hippie talking about seeds like in your garden and saying that like if you put your saliva on it and then it like picks up your genetics or whatever. I mean, like I don't know how much genetic material is in saliva, but obviously like there's energy, you know what I mean? There's like that's you. But it's like
I mean, you can do a DNA swab from the mouth.
Right, but you got to get the cheek cells, right? Like we don't do it, so that's not something that we practice. Usually we try things out or whatever. I might have fucking put some seeds in my mouth a couple times. That's not something we do all the time.
I think that would be an interesting venture. Like, I don't know, man. Not to play with anybody's life or anything, but I don't know if you had like a patient or knew of somebody, and like if you just grew a plant for them and see if it improved their health, and maybe like you said, get some of that cheek material and just pop the seed in like a little person.
Just splash some DNA on it in some way.
Am I tripping?
No, I don't think you're tripping. I think a lot of it has to do with your intent and the intent of somebody who's, going to that trouble to, salivate their seeds. I mean, basically they just want the best results and they want to leave their mark. So. I mean, that's a lot better than somebody who's, like just following the dollar more or less and not really giving a shit how they grow or how they pop the seed. Mike's right. I've tried it a couple times and I really didn't see any noticeable results as to what I was, and I was kind of surprised by that because my intent was so high when I was doing it. But I think that the whole process of nurturing a plant and just loving a plant and growing the seed, and, being with that from the time it's an inch high to, 10 feet high is, like, it's like an affair, it's like a relationship. And, all that has meaning and all that has, if it's done right, if you're thinking good thoughts. So that's my 2 cents on it.
On the digital hash bash program, we had a musician who actually played music with his cannabis plant. And by that I mean he hooked electrodes up to the cannabis plant, recorded the biofeedback that it created, translated that into sound, and then he would play the guitar. And the cannabis plant, oddly enough, changed its biofeedback based on the type of guitar playing that he was doing. The plant actually responded and they played together. That's a video that's available on YouTube. But it's amazingly incredible, these different nuances that we are just now discovering. And it seems like at 2020 we probably should have known this a long time ago if traditional science had allowed broad thinking instead of just ascribed a narrow pathway to learning and technology.
Man. Well, I know I've seen studies where they've actually recorded some kind of feedback, some sound emitted from plants when they're being cut down. Not cannabis plants, but plants in general.
Screaming trees. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot going on, I think, that we don't understand, but like we should still try to be aware of in some respect. You know, when growing the plant, especially if we're going to call it medicine, which it is, if it's done right. I don't know about that remediated shit. I don't know about like the stuff in the shiny packages necessarily, but there's definitely cannabis out there that is medicine.
Had some fantastic cannabis this weekend from Redemption Cannabis Products. Jamie and I both had a chance to try some up at the Botanical Company. And I know the particular growers. I visited the gardens for all three of the people that produce for Redemption, and we were pretty satisfied with all three of the different ones. It's nice to see that there are some companies out there that are doing it well.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And you know, while we were kind of on the subject of music, man, we have Mike Fate joining us. Is he here, Berg?
What up, though, man?
What up, y'all? What's up? Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
What's up?
Hey,
up,
thank
Mike?
y'all for having me on the show, man. Y'all know I love checking in with y'all when I can.
For sure.
What
So,
you
yeah,
smoking?
you know, Mike Fate is a Detroit artist / entrepreneur traveler, and well, you just took a trip out to the whole West Coast, basically.
Oh yeah, we just went out to Cali. We met up with California, Can of Green Gold, and one more company that I'm not going to tell you about right now. We're gonna have a lot of really big changes coming soon. You're gonna like this.
Right, good. Well, man, we're gonna check in with you later about that, man. But right now, you're about to be a part of an event coming up real soon, right?
Yeah, let me tell y'all real quick about Zazapalooza. So Zazapalooza is the first exotics expo, and it's about to be held in Chicago on August 9th. And I'm going to be one of the performers, and I'm also helping sell tables for, you know, our little area and everything, in case anybody wants to sell their exotics in Chicago with us.
Well, damn, there you have it.
Describe exotics. I mean, what are we talking about?
For me, exotics means at least 27, 28% THC. I need to be able to, really smell. It's a quality that just comes with exotics that you know when you feel it and smell it and smoke it,
Yeah, that's that shit we call Gage.
He gets it.
That's it.
Yeah, Mike Fate, are you up on Gage Green Group?
I'm following him. I've been watching him. I've been trying to get my hands on some of your stuff. I've been being very patient.
Man, you know what? When you get back from Zazapalooza, you're gonna have to hit up the Organic Cup in Michigan.
Okay, that sounds like fun. Honestly,
You should come out August 22nd.
August 22nd. Let me put it in my calendar.
Yeah.
We can definitely link, and I definitely would love to do that.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
That's what's up, man. So who's all going to be at this event, man? How many performers? How many tables? What do the people need to know, Mr.
So right now, I have 6 tables. We're bringing Gooey Roots with us out of Oregon. I've just been smoking their stuff for a while. It's been pretty fire stuff, honestly. I believe that they're going to have, who was it? G Herbo? I'm gonna make sure. Sorry, I'm using my phone that I usually use for all my information for this part.
Come on,
but
man.
I'm gonna be performing. They're gonna have some big stars out there performing. It's also a video game tournament. It's like it's gonna be a really big thing. It looks like he's really trying to do something new for the community. And honestly, shoot, I'm trying to ride with it. It sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, the Illinois market seems like it's blown up. It's like 2013, 2014 Michigan right now over
there.
Yeah. I think it's honestly, I'm glad to be getting out to more states and doing everything since, you know, we'd have had this whole shutdown and everything. My album had dropped like 3 days before the pandemic hit. So I've really just been on standby until now.
So it's gonna be your first event?
Yeah, and Lil Gotti's supposed to be out here too, so that's supposed to be nice. Getting some big names out here too.
You've been telling people about Medical Mondays, right, motherfucker?
You already know. I fuck with Medical Mondays. Y'all my boys. I ain't even, believe me, there's a lot of information I'm not sharing until I share it with y'all.
Mike was on Shelly's show, Reeds and Weeds, a couple weeks ago.
Yes, it was.
We were at the CRV radio studio. I recorded it. And actually, Mike met Shelly on Medical Mondays here.
You'd be surprised how people come together on Medical Mondays, man.
What was the book that night?
No, it was we discussed lyrics to Mike's album.
Oh, perfect. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was really cool, actually. I've never done nothing like that, and they were talking about an album that really meant a lot to me, and a song that really meant a lot to me. So it was a really fulfilling interview, honestly.
It was really cool. Check it out.
Yeah, shout out to Reeds and Weeds.
Is it on YouTube or Facebook or what?
It's on all that shit. And
on Reeds and Weeds.
All of the CRV stuff goes to Mixcloud.
He's like, it's everywhere.
Find it on Mixcloud.
Shelly has shit everywhere. I don't know. She's got it on Apple and Spotify and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, shout out to Shelly and Reeds and Weeds.
Yeah, really. And thank y'all for introducing me to her. She's a very sweet person.
Got it up. Well, shit, man. What's your take on all this remediated weed and all these, I would say, unethical practices that brands perpetrate with their flower and extracts and all of that?
Yeah, I think you got to be very careful moving through cannabis right now, simply because of the state of everything. I've noticed that not only is weed more expensive, but like my one friend told me he had bought some weed from a dude who put salt on it to make it look, to make it look better. Yeah, you feel me? Like he put salt on the weed. So you really got to be careful out here. Like people are out here tripping, like really inspect your stuff. If you got to put your tongue just a little bit on the weed. If it tastes salty, don't smoke it. You feel me? Like it
tastes salty, don't.
Yeah.
What?
What? You gotta
taste your weed now. You got.
It's like Coke.
That might be something you see written on the gay bar's bathroom wall. Can taste salty. Don't smoke it.
There it is.
You figure it out by the time you roll it up, Berg. You figure it out.
You should. You fucking should if you roll in the right way. A little bit of weed should hit your lip. You know, like
motherfuckers are seasoning their weed. Seasoning their weed. Oh my god.
What's the chat got to say, man? I'm sure the chat's got some choice words out there.
I mean, yeah, salt.
People are just saying, he's like, Prop 1 says, I'm glad I have a caregiver. You know.
Oh yeah, there you go. He gets it.
Me too.
Like the Illuminati.
Man, so while we got everybody in here, and my man Mike Fate definitely had his boots on the ground out there with the protests in the city. What do you guys think about the federal agents coming to Detroit?
I think that they might have a hard time out here.
I think that whole we're only there to help with investigations is bullshit. I think they're here to do exactly the same thing that they did in Portland. And I think they're going to find an unwilling prosecutor, an unwilling mayor, an unwilling police department, and an unwilling citizenry. So bring your fucking ass on.
Straight up, my cousin, he's an MP. He's like down in Illinois. He was like, man, if you ever hear about some shit or anything, like me and my boys are going up there. Like they're MPs. Like they can fucking arrest military. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Like, he's not playing.
I mean, did you see that shit
That's
in
cold.
Portland where they shattered like 2 bones in my man's hand? He was like a vet.
Navy vet.
And he was just like talking.
Which spawned a lot of more veteran participation. Directly.
And like they just came up and whacked him with fucking batons and fucking pepper sprayed him in the face. And like he took it like a G, man, but that shit is out of line.
It is completely.
We are really seeing a different side of American government. We've always complained about things that didn't go right, and we knew that we were being oppressed. But this is a whole new level of oppression. I mean, honestly, this is the kind of stuff you see in movies about third world countries like Caribbean nations or South American nations. This is the kind of thing we thought would happen on Washington Avenue.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I don't know. I guess like maybe the Gage Green guys felt a little removed being not so close to Detroit. But I don't know. I think it's going to be like Michigan, period. Or is it just limited to the city? Does anybody know?
Well, the federal jurisdiction's big. So, I mean, technically, I guess they could go everywhere.
They can go anywhere.
From our perspective, we're so focused on ourselves, and I know like we're all like in the garden at the farm. There's always something to do, so it's really hard to focus on what's going on outside. And like I know some of this stuff is really important and like could be, you know, could change politics forever or our lives forever. But really, like we're real focused on the garden and just like it's just like to me are distractions to my goal. You know, I mean, they do affect my life, but at the end of the day, like I focus on my work a lot more than what's going on outside.
Yeah, I mean, I guess these people aren't waiting for you to come outside, man. They're fucking with everybody.
No,
There's
they don't
not like huge like riots though, like or like autonomous zones though, like here in Detroit, like there are in like Seattle and Portland.
Yeah.
You know, it's so like when like Donald Trump says we're gonna like send it to Michigan, it's like why? Like what's like going on? I mean I drove my car like, you know, every couple days and like nothing's fucking happening. It's like
everywhere through Michigan. I've been downtown Detroit multiple times. I mean, there's nothing. I don't really know what's going on. Like, it don't really even seem like much is going on from a safety perspective. And then, like, I live in Flint, and there definitely is nothing going on here.
I attended a couple rallies in Flint. I attended one outside the Flint City Hall. We marched on another night, probably 3 or 4 miles. So those rallies were pretty much over. And it seems like when a new issue comes up, there's like a core group that are going to continue to rally, but it's small, and we usually find out about it afterwards when you don't have a chance to participate. So
there are
Yeah,
some.
well, nothing violent happened. You know what I mean? Especially
right.
There's no reason to have any kind of enforcement. You know,
But the federal government's shown that they will use enforcement tactics even when they're not necessary. Clearing out the church front right in front of the White House in order to have a photo op. Clearly, they tear gassed and used baton on people that were just exercising a First Amendment right in order to be cleared away for a president's photo op. And that was when cameras were rolling. What happens when cameras are not rolling? What are these marshals or what are these Department of Homeland Security goons, what have they been told that they're allowed to do? And, when the cell phones are not turned on, when the video is not there, what's going down?
That's why even fucking military people need to have fucking cameras. Especially the National Guard that they send to fucking cities and shit, all police, even in fucking riot gear, should have some kind of fucking camera on them. They fucking want to pay for all these toys with all the money that they're stealing from us. I'm just so sick of the government right now.
They sure love to use those videos when they think it makes their guys look innocent, don't they?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy,
man. So, speaking of shit that's going on in Flint, man, I don't know. Is Mike still with us? Mike Fate?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I am. Just rolling up.
Do you know this guy, YNJ?
Let me see.
The rapper from Flint. He had an event the other day, and there was like a shooting at it, and like
that's
people got messed up.
It was bad.
Oh, that sucks. Oh,
Yeah,
actually, no, I haven't had to run into him yet. That sounds dastardly.
Well, the police in Flint tried to shut it down a couple times. They just moved the location. You know how we do. And I live in Flint. I live in the township. I grew up in Flint. Graduated from Central. I know how you just roll it on to the next, And eventually, at the last one, when Michigan State Police and Flint officers were there, something went down and 6 people got shot.
Damn.
We've been in quarantine too long. The one thing I didn't say was the name of the event was Coochie Land.
Huh?
So it was almost guaranteed that somebody was going to get hurt. I don't know. It was just bad business.
I need to get on that mailing list, man. I mean, I'm not getting told about these till after they go down. That's bad on me, I guess.
Rick.
Rick's gonna roll up in that bitch, be like, you know who I am?
I drive a Park Avenue. That's all it takes.
Taco meat.
Crying.
Oh my god.
That's actually not true.
I don't know, man.
Sometimes I'm like so relieved my nickname C Murder.
Damn. Like that, see?
Well, I think he's saying it's
man.
Taco Meat Thompson.
I'm sorry, I'm terrible. I found my woods.
Man, so I got some more organic cup questions. What are the categories going to be?
We got 3 flower categories. We do have indoor and outdoor for people who have outdoor and greenhouse, and we have a hemp flower category, a hemp products category. We have an edible category, a concentrate category. What else? I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Does that hemp
It
category
would be
include
nice,
smokable
man.
flower?
Organic live.
Yeah.
It's got to be so yummy.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I gotta see this.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely a difference when you smoke like something organic. I don't know. It feels different in your lungs too.
Very true. Very true. It also doesn't taste like salt.
Tastes like salt.
No, no.
One of those things where, like Jeff was saying, with the whole spit thing, but less of that crazy, but more just like you're doing everything you can to allow the plant to thrive. And so, like, usually people go to salts or go to chemical methods because they're either trying to take a shortcut or trying to fix a problem. But they end up, getting addicted to it or whatever the case may be. It becomes a necessary part of their process, but it's made a lot of people a lot of money. The thing with organics is it's about passion. It's about not taking shortcuts. It's about taking the long way. You know what I mean? It's about doing everything you can, giving the plant the soul, the integrity, the essence. And you can tell when you smoke it because it can actually enhance your dreams. It can enhance your creativity. It can open up your, ability to think rather than close. It's almost like night and day. But then, we're real. Like most of the people who come and try our stuff end up becoming like believers, quote unquote. But like that organic. There is a difference, and it's better for the mind, body, and spirit.
I would like to try this. This sounds very nice.
You're welcome. Yeah, so like instead of we were just like I was saying, we were just gonna bring a bunch of flowers to smoke everybody out. We were gonna have our buddies. You guys know him, Travis from North Coast. He was gonna roll up joints and Canagars for everybody. That would kind of help because like instead of having everybody surrounding like the glass or dabs or whatever, we just thought it would be cleaner if everybody had their own joint or joints, so that we were just able to pass out different flavors and blends. We were gonna make a cup like formula or blend of a few different strains and just roll it up. And it's gonna have our gold G on it, painted with the hemp and everything. It's gonna be fancy. So you guys definitely want to come out and.
Michael, remind us what the date is on that, and it's in Gladwin, right?
Yes, it's in Gladwin at our 40-acre farm, same place we had it last year, and it's August 26th to the 23rd. And so it's 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, 12 to 8 p.m. We're going to have food served by Red Haven from Lansing. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Red Haven in Lansing, but they just make fire food. Like it's all farm to table. It's locally sourced, and Tony, the chef, is just a true artist. And we go there once in a while, even though he's not. He doesn't make all vegan, but we go there for what little options we can get because it's just true art. And he's coming out and making food for everybody, and it's going to be fantastic. So we're lucky to have that. And then we're going to be serving herb, and then we'll have other vendors kind of demoing their products, and we'll have yeah. So anyways, that probably about answers your questions.
Is there any camping on site at your 40-acre place?
That's a good question. We've considered it and we've been asked that question, but due to insurance liabilities, the fact that it's not really paved in a lot of areas for that to like if it was rainy or whatever, it just wouldn't work. So so right now, no, but it would be definitely an option in the future. I mean, we do have 25 acres of what used to be hay, and now is just like cover crop, and so it's open space. Like we could have a whole festival there one day. So that's what we're looking at.
The new Yasgur's farm. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention, that Tony at Red Haven is going to be taking some really nice oil that we made, some coconut oil that's really strong. And he's going to be making some really nice treats and desserts and some creations that I'm sure he's still thinking about. But the oil is really exceptional, and it's using all our sugar trim. So everything is organic. The coconut oil medium is all organic. And there should be a lot of stone people there, believe me, and feeling good and having their palate really kind of expanded with Tony's great cooking. I mean, this guy is really an artist. So anybody who likes food, I'm sure will really, and we are vegan, but there will be other options there. So there will be some meat and for people who like that. So I just wanted to mention that.
That sounds awesome. I know Gladwin's got campgrounds and hotels and all kinds of stuff around there. So even if you're not providing on-site accommodations, there's still ways for people to be able to enjoy all that medicated food and not have to drive miles back home.
Yeah, there's some really nice Airbnbs. There's a lot of water here, a lot of lakes. So, those are options, reasonable prices, to spend the night. And Gladwin's just a very beautiful place. We really love it.
There's a lot of cannabis business in Kalkaska too. Gladwin, Kalkaska, some of those places up there. I mean, there's a reason why people from down here retired up there, because it is just a little bit of heaven.
Yeah, it's pretty simple too. It's everybody knows everyone here. It's really laid back. Nobody moves fast. Nobody yells. It's just it's just a nice town.
Oh man, sure you want me and Roach to come then?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Let everyone know on next door, like they're coming. Just warn them.
Everybody in this chat is welcome to come out.
Right.
Just send me a DM just to confirm, and I can get you on the guest list.
That VIP room looked really cool, and that's where you say all the stuff's going to go down, right?
Well, for the VIPs, there's going to be something for everybody. I mean, it's going to be a really high class experience. But the VIPs get gifts, and they get access to dabs and oil and their own gifts that I guess we're gonna make packages for them. That's what we've always done, and so I think that it's a really good deal. I mean, I with everything that we put into this, I mean, we're already working on it. We've been working really hard on it, for about a month now. So I think that it's really going to be a great experience, and that's what we want. I'm not really looking at how much money we're going to make. That's not the issue. The issue is, just having a really wonderful weekend with like-minded people that we can talk about and have some great memories till the next one, and then the next one will be better because we'll learn from this. And or somebody will be there that wants to participate the next time, you know, because we always run into really talented people. You know, you guys might even want to do like a special podcast there or something, you know, and just, you know, we just keep it open with good quality. That's what we're looking for.
You are muted.
Okay.
I'm talking about Roach. Roach keeps on talking.
Mike Fate's got a nice joint right there. He's rolling up. I saw that.
Oh, my bad. You guys couldn't hear me. I was like, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We need to do a live feed from the cup. And then my next question was, who are the judges and what does it take to be a judge?
Good question.
That is a good question. We've selected a few individuals that we feel are, you know, experienced with imbibing in organic cannabis and have good tastes in regards to what is truly clean and beneficial, along with, you know, discerning of quality and obviously all that. Like, so like there's a lot of people, right, who smoke a lot of weed, but we are looking for people who smoke a lot of organic weed and really, like, you know, see the nuances between what's going on and could potentially be able to call out flower that's grown organically. If it were me, I would just, but I'm not gonna. Yeah. That I'm like we're not gonna enter either. Like that would just be unfair being the host. So we're basically, yeah, we hand selected a few people to do the judging. I am not going to be opposed to having more judges, so it just depends. Something we'll have to talk about. But yeah, it's gonna be great. Like, you know, what would be cool is if you guys were like live broadcasting the results or even the judging, possibly in some way. That wouldn't, you know, as long as it wouldn't be like. I think like you guys should definitely come out and do something cool.
Yeah, I think we can definitely make something cool happen, for sure.
Yeah, people in the chat are asking about entry fees and how do you get VIP access. So.
Yeah, so the Welcome to Detroit says, is there an entry fee? Like, there is no entry fee for the company took off because it was just like a barrier to people entering, and we thought, you know, people are already putting up the cannabis, so why ask them for more money? So yeah, we're just it's going to be free entries. Bring your best organically grown cannabis, you know, and product. So, and then how do you get VIP access? Tickets are available at gggnatural.com, and at the bottom you can just go to Organic Cup. You can get more details at gagegreengroup.com. There's event information, but basically VIP is $500. It's exclusive because it's access to the house, but last year we kind of had like our Gage Green section in the house area, and everyone was outside in the tent. And I kind of feel like it kind of felt like there was two events going on. We were a little separate from the actual rest of the party. So this time we're going to be situated outside, and then the house is only going to be for VIPs. So that's kind of going to be I mean, you guys weren't there last time, but for anybody that was there last time, that's going to be a little different. One of the differences. So VIP is going to include like food and drinks, and we're going to give out a pack of seeds that you can't get anywhere else, and we're going to which is probably going to be the Miles Ahead crossed with Mr. 66 Purple Punch Aloha Grape Stomper. So it's just a mix that we just recently came up with, and we'll be giving the partial packs to our VIPs, along with a good goodie bag, like Jeff was saying, with like a can of gar and a few other things that we will be deciding on. So yeah, that's kind of what the VIP experience is all about.
Yeah, well, sounds like it's going to be a great event.
Yeah, definitely.
The goal is to take it a step higher than what we're used to at, say, High Times or whatever. I could use all the help I could get. Really, right now we're just doing everything we can to maintain the quality, to present our best, and to give everybody like an amazing experience.
Well, yeah, no, you guys definitely seem like you're pretty committed to your, I don't even know what it is, man. It seems like it's like a lifestyle. I think you said it before, you guys are committed to putting out some pretty good cannabis. I've only tried it once, but it was memorable.
Thank you. Oh yeah, we're really devoted to the way we do things, and we're really grateful to the creator, or your higher power, or whatever, your God, whatever you want to. We're just really grateful, and we kind of live with that presence that something that's bigger than us, and it's like our mission. It's not a belief, it's just a knowledge. We have to get this knowledge out, and I'm really devoted to it. It's something you really have to be patient with, because people are kind of slow sometimes, but I'm sure that once you try our flavors and really get into us, you'll love it, and you can really see the difference. And I just want to mention that like 13 years ago, I was growing with Advanced Nutrients. It's a 3-part system. It costs a lot to grow with that. It's a very, there's like 16 components that go into each feed. And man, I had the most beautiful flowers and the frostiest shit, and people loved it. But my ears were ringing after I would smoke it, and I didn't feel really good, and I was like feeling anxious, and I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be, it's just not supposed to be like that, man, so I had to find a different way, and so here we are today, and I'm growing with a lot of the means and methods that Michael has developed, and with his mushroom powders, and the sea minerals, and just a lot of the ways we do things, the bigger pots. And so I just wanted to mention that I know what it's like to have medicine that isn't really medicine, and I just we're really truly devoted to giving people the best we can. So that's what Gage is all about.
Well, just as like I guess to test the waters, or out of curiosity, have you guys tried any of the cookies or the runts or any of these, like flashy strains that are out here and the foil packaging and all that shit. What is your guys' opinion on that stuff?
I haven't tried any of it personally. I'm really particular about what I smoke, you know. To tell you the truth, there's not too many dispensaries that I would go to right now just because of those foil packs and all that. You know, so I just really have to be careful because that'll ruin my whole day if I smoke something that I shouldn't, you know. Yeah.
Then you'll have to admit it. Like, oh, I smoked some poo-poo. Paid for it.
Right. Yeah, we're looking forward to having you guys out, you know. Just, you know, I think that'd really be cool. So
definitely.
We're gonna have to look into that.
Get your calendar. We're gonna have glass blowing. We're gonna have Reiki. We're gonna have a little petting zoo. You can pet our ponies.
What? A petting zoo, dog?
That's right.
yeah, we got ponies and a mule.
I think C Murder's in. C Murder's like, I gotta go now.
I sent my DM a long time ago, man. I don't know.
Oh shit.
Dude, I'm one of the judges now already.
Damn.
And one of the like stipulations was like that you wouldn't be a judge. So.
We're just talking to Berg, right?
Yeah. Well, I was. There's like I have to agree. You know, that day. You know, there's a final say if you get to be a judge too, Roach. But Berg definitely not.
All right. I'll try to keep it together, man.
The Medical Monday freeze out is on.
Fuck you, Berg.
People don't want to hear the truth. That's what's going on. People don't want to hear the truth.
See murder suppressing the will of the people. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I mean, I just.
What?
He's imposing the will of C Murder.
I'm just imposing the will of C Murder. And
For sure.
that's how it goes down.
With an iron fist. Sorry, Berg.
Pop goes the weasel, baby.
I'm sure one day it'll be me, man.
And goes the dynamite.
He's ruthless.
C Murder's like, fuck you, Bird.
That might impact the decision on whether or not to do a podcast from up there, though, right?
I know, yeah.
Oh, I can do it. I already got an idea.
It has me questioning things now.
It'll be Roach and C Murder.
Bitch!
Nah, you know you're in there, Berg. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you.
They're crying, dog. They're crying.
It'll be C Murder with special guest Roach and Berg.
Yeah. C Murder just took over. All right, man.
It's the power of C Murder. Yeah, top billing, baby.
We're gonna have to start just calling them Colin. It's going to his head.
All right. Well, shit, man. We've been smoking.
Colin's not here on Medical Monday.
We've been smoking for almost 2 hours, so I'm gonna bring it back up, man. What do you guys think about the Navy admitting that they have UFOs and witnessed UFOs and are tracking UFOs and have a whole division dedicated to UFOs with UFOs?
It's interesting, man. It's not conclusive yet. They remain unidentified. And it's really weird shit, you know. It'd be great to figure out what it is someday.
I'd like to see all of the stuff they've got in it. I know some of the stuff they've shown so far pretty intriguing, but I know there's more hiding back there.
It's even deeper than that, bro. It's deeper than rap for sure.
How about you, Steve? What do you think about this shit? He's looking it up.
He doesn't have to answer you. Right? He doesn't have to respond to you.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm seeing murder right now. I don't know about it.
Fuck off, Berg.
You know what interests me about that though, Roach, is that the stuff from nowadays, they got all kinds of crazy vessels and drones and stuff. It's hard to know what is what. But the stuff from a while ago, before drones came out, before a lot of this technology was there, some of the UFOs they've recorded from that time, when really there was no big technological competition.
Well, I guess they're saying that like the materials from said aircraft are not from this earth.
Did they?
Well,
Did they admit that they have?
You're crossing stories, though, right? I mean, the what happened with the Navy and the things that they saw on their radar and how they moved freakishly and unworldly.
Yeah,
they don't know. They don't know what their materials are of that thing, but there's other discussions of other things.
It was the zoom was off. That Navy film, I don't feel like that's compelling evidence.
I believe in aliens.
There's weird shit on that. It's not,
checking out.
Yeah, I've seen like an extended version of it, and like there's a couple different pilots that picked it up or some shit, but
I just want to smoke some space weed.
Space grass from the band Clutch.
But when you like think about it, and Jamie will like agree with me, there's like tons of evidence of like different things in the past, like geometric, fields of energy that run across the earth, and like pyramids in all these like aligned places.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like too out there for like.
Now you're talking about the Anunnaki, bro.
To like, you have like higher beings than ourselves. Have
that's scary shit, man.
Greater technology, and
they hang out on the moon. They zip on down and check shit out every once in a while. Stir it up. Zip back.
They got all that cheese on their feet from being on the moon, though, right? Because it's made of green cheese. Isn't that right?
Cheese?
You're thinking of Wisconsin, I think.
I heard it was a rabbit.
They left a rabbit?
No, but the whole fact that there's untold stories about human civilization that we're just now unearthing. Things were far more common in the old world than we imagined. It's entirely possible that the human civilization has risen, been destroyed, and risen again 1 or 2 times prior to this. And the relics that we see now built with stone is the only material that could survive that long. We're seeing even steel, and some of our modern metals wouldn't have lasted through the ages like that. So the wisdom of the ancients is still out there to be discovered, and until we do, we're probably likely to repeat some of the mistakes they made along the way.
I mean, some of the wisdom they had is just toxic and shit, They put stuff together, and they were poisoning themselves at the same time too. That's why we don't use those same practices, like that Roman concrete. Like they had lead in there, but like it fucks you up. But it doesn't deteriorate. Give a life for a lifetime, I guess.
Well, they used to use mercury to mix the metals that they used for their goblets, and then they would serve alcoholic drinks with it, and the alcohol would leach the mercury out and cause genetic defects or serious problems amongst the royalty who used such metal goblets. So,
and and they were fucking their own family over and over again.
yeah, inbreeding for sure. It's a result of classism. So,
You know, and it's like, how long did it take
Go on for like a
us
long
to
time.
evolve past that, man? You know, so it's like we got a ways to go, bro. I don't know why we're even thinking about aliens. I feel like Berg called that at the beginning of the year that the alien invasion was going to happen this year, and like, here we are.
I said that,
halfway through it.
or my second choice. My second choice was a fucking virus, man. My second choice was a virus.
So,
have you guys heard of
Doofer.
Project Bluebeam?
What's that?
Project Bluebeam.
I can't hear you.
You ever heard of the term Project Bluebeam?
Blue Beam?
No. Blue Beam? No.
It's a theory that like came out probably, I think I forgot the story, but somebody that basically the idea is that the government is gonna plan a fake alien invasion, and people have been talking about this.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
That's the whole story. I'm not saying this is fake or what you're saying isn't real or whatever.
No. I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about. That's exactly what I told Roach. I was like, bro, it's gonna be, man, I don't even want to get into it. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna get into it, but you're getting into it right now.
And then
5 years ago, that might have been a nah, but after what we've seen in the last 5 years, maybe.
Well, if you think about it, the fact that, I mean, personally, I just don't really believe in like anything that the government says anymore.
How can you?
Like, I'll follow some of the rules, and do, but like the thing is, like, they're giving out stories like that. I find it hard to believe because historically, not.
Yeah, Werner von Braun was a Nazi rocket scientist in World War II, and with Operation Paperclip, which has just been released, in which Russia took half of the Nazi scientists, and we took the other half, and we infused them into our space program and put them into positions of leadership, and now you wonder why the government is all fucked up. But besides that, Werner von Braun ran and started NASA, and he was the catalyst for the programs that are going on these days. On his deathbed, he told his secretary to make sure to tell people what they were going to do. Because even 50 years ago, this Operation Bluebeam was being planned, and with holograms and everything else. And it's just a great way to not only cause fear, but, to get the people to get on the ship, wherever the ship is going. I don't think it's going to a good place, but that's the story of that. And there's some other really interesting tidbits of information about Werner von Braun. The guy basically said that he wanted to tell the world on his deathbed that the space program was fake, that it was all bullshit. And tell you the truth, I'm very inclined to believe him, to agree with him. So there goes your theory about aliens. Nothing gets out and nothing comes in.
I mean, we still haven't been to the fucking deepest fucking part of the fucking ocean yet. It's like, whatever. Let's keep throwing money out to outer space?
Personally, I think that there's like a lot of people that make money off of keeping us distracted from what's most important, whether it be the food we consume, our family, like taking care of the earth, taking care of our society, our community. Instead of talking about things like that, we're talking about being afraid of new elements, new stories, new fantasies, all the time, left and right, every freaking week. And it's like all to keep us from being focused on achieving our best. Like, how can you literally have a conversation or be focused on building your business when you're worried about like whether or not tomorrow an alien is going to come to blow your fucking house up? Like, how can you have a solid meditation if that's what you believe in your fucking cosmos, that there's like that, you know? I mean, I'm not saying that these, whether you believe they're friendly or not, I don't even know, but it's just a distraction. Like, have you ever met an alien? Have you ever met somebody that met an alien? And I'm not saying that if you have that person is lying, but I'm just saying that until it's a direct, until it directly affects your life, like, it's really just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying it's irrelevant, but it's a distraction, and it just seems like another government fabricated lie, unfortunately. Like, whether it be cannabis is bad for you, to like, you know, whatever the fuck you can think of. That's my take.
I don't know. I was just imagining. That's all I was doing.
Yeah, fear can put people into a real prison, you know. And I understand what you're saying, Mike. It's like we have these government agencies, like the 3-letter agencies like CIA and FBI, who are just making shit up to fuck people up.
You don't mention those on Medical Mondays. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hear you.
Nah, I'm totally joking.
Well, I mean, it could be a good point, but
I see it. A lot of it is like, it's like my religion to protect my psyche from everyone, from all man. I don't care what letter you are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care who you are. I'm gonna protect my mind and my mental health from being distracted, from being like convoluted by things that most likely are fantastical or have no relevance to my direct life. And so, like, until I can measure it and prove it, I don't really jump on it. And I kind of, I don't want to get into too much, but basically, like, a lot of the stuff that's out there, I just don't believe in at all. I don't even think it's real. I believe it's Hollywood. And so, in my mind, anything Hollywood can do, it's being done to distract us. And our focus is just doing our best work, creating art, creating healthy cannabis, promoting human health, and really finding a way to get out of this, like, this matrix alive. So that's kind of been our goal. And like, it's interesting to see, you know, the news out there and what is being talked about, but like, in reality, it's not real. So that's just my take.
yeah, everything is fabricated. It's all Hollywood. You know, everything we see is just fabricated and made up. You know, everything we're taught in school is fabricated and made up. You know, the winners are the ones who write the history. That doesn't mean it's real. So we live in a weird world. You know, if you really want to think about, you know, what an alien is, you know, there are plenty of beings here that are not human. I don't know if I'd call them alien. I think they're natives, you know, to the earth. You know, they live amongst us, and some of them are cloaked and some are not. you know, with the level of sociopathy that we see these days, with people just acting crazy and doing stupid shit, I can tell you that demons are alive and well, you know, in this world, and they're pretty fucking nasty too. So, you know, I don't know about aliens, but I know there are life forms that have their unique capabilities and probably aren't very friendly to humans. So that's my take.
You left
Shit.
us speechless.
That's deep.
That was good.
So true, though.
Yeah, well, look closely at people around you. You know, some of them don't look very human at times. You know, I mean, just remember what I'm saying. You know, some of these cops that are shooting people, or some of the people shooting other people. You know, it makes you wonder, how human is this? You know, this isn't too cool.
That's a hard point to argue, man.
Yeah, it's not human to be, you know, like pepper spraying somebody and then busting their hand if they're old and, you know, a Navy veteran. That's not cool at all. That's some kind of, you know.
I hate to say it, but it reminds me of, you know, like, what are they going to say later on? That they were just following orders? Like, haven't we learned that lesson yet from history?
No, it's just out of control right now. I see this world that we're in as we're in a spiritual warfare, and we're in the thick of it, man. I've never seen anything like this. Every day it's so intense, you know, and it is you know, it's you can't help but notice it, but it's a time in history, and I refuse to, you know, to make fear an option. You know, I see it as a very exciting time we're living in, you know, so it's almost challenging to me, you know, just how to survive and flourish in the apocalypse, because we're thick into the apocalypse right now. You know, we're probably way past that. So it's just something to think about. You know, the apocalypse, by the way, means the unveiling, when the truth comes forth and when people start opening up their eyes and waking up to see what the truth is. And I think that that's really happening a lot these days. People are really starting to wake up, man. Yeah. And say, we don't want no more of this shit. You know, we don't want no more of this corrupt government. So.
Yeah, it's definitely getting deep, man. I'm just wondering what's the carrot they're going to dangle that's going to calm all this shit down. I don't think there's one.
Well,
aliens.
Aliens,
The only thing that's left.
They're gonna do some fucking alien shit. Then it's gonna be one world government.
Yeah.
We all gotta come together and fight these aliens.
That's a good one.
I'm telling you, man.
What's left? They don't have anything left. They, like you said, you don't believe anything they say. That's not an uncommon sentiment. So how do you have authority when you've like undermined your power from the get? You don't.
Like
you need aliens.
Cried wolf. You lied
Once
to me
again, I
times.
want to say America am gonna employ the Mexicans to save everything. by introducing aliens yet again to keep their government afloat and make them the enemy.
They might know what's up, because we sure don't.
Crazy. Well, fellas, we're definitely going to have to continue this conversation at the Cup. If anybody's interested, man, feel free to come and join us there for this conversation and many others. But until then, I don't know, man. We got to wrap it up. We made it to the end of another great show. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Once again, the Organic Cup happening when?
August. Right.
That was August 29th?
22nd and 23rd.
22nd and 23rd. All right.
Yeah, two-day weekend.
All right,
In
guys.
Gladwell.
Everybody set aside your weekend. Let's check this shit out, man. It's gonna be lit.
Yep.
Tickets are available at
gagenatural.com. And you can get more information there and at gageGreenGroup.com.
and hit them up on IG, all of that. Everybody knows how to get a hold of you guys. You're famous. Yeah, what's going on Jazz Cabbage tomorrow?
We have the candidate for Wayne County Prosecutor, Victoria Burton Harris.
Okay.
And candidate for State House seat, District 72, I believe. She's from Kentwood, which I think might be on the west side state, although I'm not sure about that. We'll otherwise be discussing cannabis and doing our regular thing. And you guys are all, of course, welcome to join us as always.
Thanks for joining us, Rick and Jamie and C Murder. Gage Green Group, always a pleasure.
Thanks for having us. It was good meeting you guys.
Before we go, let's give a big shout out to our sponsors. Roll that beautiful sponsor footage, Bird. Big shout out to Honeybee Extractions, Native Made 313, Ghostbuster Farms, Western Tobacco, Michigan Turp Farms, Michigan Ganja Queen, and Label My Motherfucking Bud.
Boom.
Once again, happy motherfucking birthday to Scoop.
Happy birthday, Scoop.
You can't beat me, dog. You can't beat me. And join us next week, man. We're going to have Mike Fate back on. He's going to tell us about what kind of weed they had in Cali and all the fucking shit he got into. It seemed pretty lit. Apparently he kept the booth when he ran into it. So let's see what that story's about. I don't know. Plenty of other crazy shit happening too. So tune in.
Tune in next Monday. Stay tuned on IG. Everybody follow everybody. And yeah, Jazz Cabbage Cafe tomorrow at 4 p.m. Right? Cool. Got anything to say, Rick, before we end this bitch?
Hey, just keep doing good things for good people. Thanks a lot. Great interview today, Jeff and Michael. I mean, that was awesome stuff. A great look behind the plant. You know, we smoke it a lot. We don't talk about it a lot. This is a great deal.
Cool.
Thanks, Rick. Keep doing good work.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. It was a good interview.
Boom.
You heard it here first. It was a good interview.
All right, y'all.
Ciao, guys.
Peace.